But y'all know what time it is, man. It's a music and sport podcast. We always talking about music and sports. You know, on the sports side, we gonna kind of double dudge today. Go from the music to the sports back to the something else. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
Most underrated NBA players of all time. Man, when you say that, dog, who kind of your mind off the top, my G?
Ooh. Dudes who I felt like got some accolades but weren't really appreciated wholeheartedly in their era for whatever reason. And so if I'm judging by that criteria, for me, the first dude I'm gonna mention may surprise you, but I think he was a much better player than we talked
I got somebody that's surprising too, but go ahead.
Well, this won't be probably as surprising as yours, but I'm talking about, we talk about this guy. He is still culturally relevant.
Okay.
To basketball, but just not for his play on the court per se.
Who was that? Now, who we got, man? Do I need to get a drum roll going? Let me see if I can.
Probably not.
Okay. All right, what we got?
So the dude I think was one of the most underrated basketball players, not just who he is outside of that.
Yeah.
Is Vince Carter, bro.
Wow.
I think Vince Carter doesn't get a lot of the recognition. He was considered the most talented basketball player in his era for a number of years.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't talk about Vince outside of the dunking, outside of who he is athletically, outside of his cultural relevance in the contest, and maybe even some of the things he's done with some of those battles against AI and stuff like that in the playoffs. But a lot of people don't talk about Vince Carter, the basketball player. Vince Carter, the basketball player, was cold, bro. Mm-hmm. Injuries kind of derailed him from being all that he should have been, because by the time he gets to New Jersey, he's had 2 knee surgeries by then. But dog, as a player, Vince was on the rise. And once his shot came into, like some of them later years in Toronto, he almost was virtually unstoppable. Vince should have been. We talk more about T-Mac's ability on the floor than we do Vince. But even T-Mac has interviews where he says, I don't know a more talented guy just based off natural talent than Vince Carter. And so
okay. Yeah, that's surprising.
So yeah. So one of the dudes I feel like doesn't get much mention in the culture, and I think he's underrated from the standpoint of what his actual game did, despite him maybe not reaching some of the heights winning wise that may have propelled him had he won more and stuff like that. I think Vince is a guy we should talk about more as far as basketball. Go ahead.
What was that year that him and the New Jersey Nets they made it to an Eastern Conference Finals, right?
They did.
With Kidd and who was out on it? Was Richard Jefferson there still? Was he over there?
Ooh, I can't tell.
Let me pull him up right
he
quick.
Was though.
New Jersey.
Look up that roster. Yeah.
Yeah, New Jersey. I liked him over there. He had the headband on. New Jersey Nets Conference Finals.
The problem is, man, Vince caught too many injuries at pivotal times when he was really going crazy. Like Vince had a couple of streaks where he was on like a 40-point streak for a little while, and then bang, he'd go out with a knee or something like that, and then he'd have to.
That boy said bang. Yeah, so they had J Kidd. Of course they had. Hold on, I'm trying to see what this nigga name at. VC, was he on there? Hey, I'm trying to see if this nigga Vince Carter was even on the squad. I see Richard Jefferson. Let me see.
So okay, that might have been a different team then.
Atlantic Division. Finished first in Atlantic Division. They was 49-33.
Yeah.
Conference. Let me see if they was expected.
Was VC already gone by that time?
VC must have been out of there. They went to the conference finals. They oh yeah, I think this the team my what's the name of B? My Lakers beat. Yeah, he wasn't on that squad.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, this 03.
He wasn't on that squad.
He wasn't on that squad.
Yeah, he wasn't on that.
New Jersey Nets. Let me see them the following year.
I think he was there before. Or maybe he was there the following year. But I think he was there before, wasn't he? Or no? No, he probably was there later. Yeah. He probably was there later.
It looks like it because I can't see him on them. That was a finals team. I know he ain't never been to a finals, right?
Never been to a finals.
No,
And that's another thing, man. It's always tough because no matter how well you play, if you've never been to a finals, it's hard.
you know
Yeah.
what's your take on that? Do you like that or no?
What do I like? What?
Like if you ain't been to a finals, you know you kind of looked at a certain way that where your career is hurt.
You want to know why? I'm actually probably surprised you. I hate that. You want to know why?
Why? A lot of your players suffer from that.
No, I'm thinking of a dude that we both love and respect.
Who's
Damian
Dame?
Lillard.
Yeah.
If Damian
yeah.
Lillard never makes it to a finals, that should be no indictment on how good we know Damian Lillard is. But he may not be. He may be the dude I'm talking about 10 years from now, where we have to say, I wish y'all knew how good he was.
Yeah, he definitely gonna be in this underrated conversation. Oh, he gonna be like he's already most underrated right now, currently all time. He probably gonna, if he don't make it to the finals and get a chip in there like that, he gonna definitely be one of the most underrated for sure. Like just because he ain't got no MVPs, he ain't got no championships. Only been to one conference finals. He plays in Portland. Like all that stuff matters. You know what I mean? He plays in Portland.
And that hurts, bro. Because if we were talking current players, when I think of most underrated, I'm talking about your career is over. So now we kind of have to talk about you in hindsight. Dame still has the opportunity to change that, so I didn't put him on my list because he would absolutely be number one for me as far as underrated. I think Damian Lillard to me, I know it's going to sound super blasphemous, but I just love Dame this much. It's probably
I already know what you. Here we go. Come on.
Damian Lillard to me is every bit as good as the Steph Currys of the world, bro. Personally. Every bit.
Here we go. You always you use Steph as your attack master, huh?
Nah, I love Steph, but I'm just saying, bro, he's every bit as good as Steph Curry, bro. The problem is Damian Lillard has never gotten the floor to showcase that. And I'm telling you, I really feel like give Dame Giannis to somebody like that Milwaukee. Dame would have 3 or 4 rings, bro. I'm telling you he would. He's that guy, bro.
Yeah.
Listen. This is how, and I know we got to get back on topic. I'm gonna just say this quick story real quick because I think the pod needs it. I'll never forget when Austin Rivers was talking about the series or the game. I think me and you had a whole group chat during this time.
Yeah.
And a game against the Trailblazers and the Nuggets in the playoffs went to like triple overtime. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And Austin Rivers said it got to a point. It was incredible. He was talking about Austin Rivers was like, bro, we pulled out the game. He said, but I want to let y'all know right now, before I even talk about the win, I want to talk about Damian Lillard. He said, we were praying for him to miss. He said it got bro. They said it got to the point where Dame was crossing half court and just letting it go. We were sending 2, 3, even in some cases 4 defenders at him to trap him. He would step back. He would step back, dribble to the right, and pull again. He said the dude came down 10 straight times and pulled for 3, bro, and didn't miss. He said when he finally missed one, he said, bro, when he finally missed one, I almost had to remember that the dude was human because he was insane. Like, that's how good Damian Lillard is, bro.
Yeah.
When an NBA player who has seen it all is saying, I forgot dude was human. He's nuts. You know what I'm saying? But we may never talk about him in that fashion if he doesn't play on some of the biggest stages. So, free Dame Lillard, but my bad, bro. I just feel like we need to talk about
no, that was worth it, man. Dame, he's definitely, man, I want the best in for him to have better opportunities, man. Like you said, man, put him in next side of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. Like if Dame was James Harden, I would book them to go get the finals. Like
what?
If Damian Lillard was in the spot of James Harden, oh my God. I mean, it'd be almost just insanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause he's everything you want in big crunch time stage. Everything's on the line. Dame is that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looks for those moments to be the guy. He don't, some guys run away. Some guys, it falls in their lap and they happen to be. No, he's the guy. He wants to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, back to the question though, dog. Somebody that I had in mind that gets a bad rep. You know what I'm saying? He's well decorated. I don't know why most people don't like the guy. I ain't gonna say that because at one point I didn't like the guy, and I may not be the most fond of him, but I've had a chance to meet this guy in real life, and I gave it to him when pause. I let him have it when pause again when I met him in person, bro. Because anybody that know me, it's Team Mamba mentality on it. You know what I'm saying? I had to let him know. Dwight effing Howard, dog. I think he's underrated though, man. I think one of the things to point to that I feel like they really robbed him of is not getting on that 75th anniversary team. We speaking about somebody like Dame, which I think Dame is deserving of it. But, one would say Dwight Howard, for one, has a chip, not as the number one, but he played a pivotal part with my Lakers in the bubble. And then he also led his team to a finals again versus my Lakers, took an L to my boy Kobe and Pau Gasol. But, he took out a LeBron James. I want to say an MVP LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals. That team shot astronomical, though I will say that he had some pieces over there. Jameer Nelson had a coming out party. Rayford Austin, he had a coming out party when Jameer Nelson went down. Hito Turkoglu, Rashad Lewis. I mean, they had snipers. Yeah. They had snipers. Hey, my boy Kyle, he'll let you know they shot something like 66 behind the arc for the entire series. I said, yeah, it was something like that. it was something crazy. But and then he's also a defensive workhorse, 2-time defensive player. Probably like one of the greatest rebounders of all time. I want to say he's a rebound leader multi times, and man, I mean, he's been one of the best bigs on both sides of the ball in the era that he kind of played. You know what I mean? Shaq always kills him. You know what I mean? For just never being, I guess, what he expected of him to be. He made sure he didn't give him that Superman name. I think Giannis is the first person he actually gave that to. But man, yeah, I think he still doesn't really get brought up in that big man all-time great category, and other names may even come up before him, and they may be less decorated, less longevity. He's played quite a while. He came in 1 year after Brian, 2004, Rookie of the Year. I mean, he has a lot. And I think he don't get as much, but I know a lot of people don't like him. But back to that story, when I met him, man, I went to the 2017 finals. 2017 and 2018 in Cleveland, and he was on the show setup of First Take. Whenever the finals come around, they always pull up to whatever city, and it was me and Kyle. We had a chance to be up there. We was like the first cats in line because we knew every place they was gonna be at the restaurant. We was following on the Twitter, whatever, and so we first in line. We there before everybody get there, and Dwight Howard is gonna be a guest on there one day. Or the day we was there. And so he's standing off to the side, and we was kind of close enough to be able to kind of have a conversation. I'm like, we having a good time talking or whatever, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, so when the last time you talked to Kobe, Dad? That boy's face went from the biggest smile to just like a meme mug, like, oh yeah, that's the end of the conversation, bro. Like he was hot, dog, and I kept asking him. I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't care how much fun we had, bro. When the last time you talked to Kobe, bro? At this time, I don't care nothing about Dwight Howard. This after the stint of him being with my Lakers and he was playing horrible for us. I knew he didn't want to hear that, dog. So I had to take advantage of it, man. But still, I think Dwight, he definitely is underrated, man. I still got to give him his flowers and kudos, man. Even though he ain't one of my favorites or nothing, dog. But I think he belongs in that conversation, yo.
Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%. I think he's one of the guys that should be talked about a little bit more. Some of that got to be a personality thing too, bro. and a stigma about who Dwight Howard is as far as the thing in his chest, man. Like pause, like does he have the heart? Does he have the dedication? Does he have the dog mentality? Is he a killer at heart? Stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's part of the reason for him, but
That boy
still
over in,
shouldn't.
that boy over in Shanghai averaging what 90, 20, and 20. Hey, I see that boy. It was a stat sheet that came up, a box score. That boy's numbers. I said, "What is this, man? NBA Jam, arcade. What we doing over there, dog?" He getting his bread though, man. He's still chasing at his dreams. I commend him, man.
I commend him. He is for sure. And so hopefully he get another opportunity in the league. I think he can still play, still offer something to a squad. So yeah, why not? Why not, man? Somebody in the league should pick up Howard.
For the older cats, man, for the older head or the older crowd that may be chiming in, I did take the time to look up some lists, kind of get a feel of what the historians of the game kind of felt. And I was quite kind of surprised, but it kind of made sense when I thought about it and kind of how they regard it. I'm not too sure about this one because he was way past my era. I regard him as somebody, but Dominique Wilkes was actually on a couple of the lists that I seen. He's named in the 50 greatest players of all time. Averaged 25 points per game, 10 consecutive seasons. That's insane. I mean, just to think of that, it's not even too many cats in the league you can say right now that's done that, right? You got to think about Brian, maybe KD for sure. It's not too many cats. It's 25 a season for 10 consecutive seasons is hard, fam. You got to sustain a certain level of greatness to do that. Never wins a chip, though. That's probably where he probably falls down a lot. Number 2, I seen Scotty was on the list. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that. This one I really felt. Dennis Rodman. I felt that one for sure. Yeah.
Dennis, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Listen, I think still the only player to have multiple games of 30 rebounds ever in NBA history. Leading rebounder for like 7 consecutive years or something crazy like that. All defensive teams, multiple defensive player of the year. And these are just off the top of my head of like thinking about Dennis Rodman's career. The fact that he's not like talked about the way that he should be is low-key blasphemy, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad he's getting that. I know you're gonna enjoy that Jonathan Majors 48 Hours film that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're gonna enjoy that one.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody to play him, you want somebody as talented as Majors to play you, bro.
Yeah.
We'll probably see nothing about the court in that movie, but
that's fine, man. I want to see the life and the lifestyle. That boy had a lifestyle, didn't he?
Man, that boy was living, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, man.